Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Snacks Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Golem F. Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are hoping and awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. If he does, then we'll catch up on what he missed. If we don't, then I guess we'll wait for him on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. We're not going to waste any time. We got a very loaded show we got to talk about. Started off with SmackDown Live from the bells from the ball center or the ball arena in Denver, Colorado, the home of the NBA World Champions, Denver Nuggets, and of course the NHL's Colorado Avalanche. Oh, by the way, Stanley Cup champions from a couple of years ago. So there's definitely been a little bit of a championship run going with the city of Denver. Of course, the Colorado Buffaloes becoming quite the story in college football right now. Oh, by the way, they're playing at this very hour. Um, Last time I checked, it was nothing. So we're not going to get into that. If Colorado wins, we'll definitely talk about them on Thursday for College Football Thursday. So we're just going to move on. And we started it off with surprise, a little bit of a shocker. Pat McAfee, my boy, for the brand, he is back on SmackDown. Oh, by the way, he was down in the area. He was like, I'm in Boulder. I was doing the college game day, and I wanted to do this. So I wanted to come back home to all you lovely people for SmackDown Live, back to the WWE Universe. And, I wanted to talk to you. So he cut in a promo, interrupted by Austin Theory. Theory started talking some stuff. Actually took a major jab at Pat McAfee about the mugshot. I know about it more than anybody else. I've followed Pat McAfee's career. Yes, he did get arrested. When I think it was during his West Virginia days, he got busted. I think it was a DUI. Driving under the influence. I think it was like a combination of drugs and alcohol. You know, some sometimes young guys makes mistakes. He had to pay, and he did. He definitely did. He paid a price for it. Um, but it is what it is. Back then, and then it was interrupted. So then McAfee comes out because basically Austin Theory basically called it Austin Theory Live. And then Pat McAfee's like, you know what, man? This is the problem with you. First off, it's not your show. This is the people's show. Do you really know what that means? The next thing we know, we get the ultimate bomb dropped. Yes, the rumors were true. College game day or the Pat McAfee show had this man earlier in the day. Was there any expectation that maybe it happened? Probably not, but it did. Dwayne The Rock Johnson was in Denver and showed up on SmackDown Live. Absolutely jaw drop moment. If you would have heard my commentary with Anthony Florio, it was absolute gold. Absolute gold. What we were working. Um, there's really nothing more to say. Rock comes out, classic line, absolutely torches Austin Theory, absolutely annihilates him, destroys him on the mic, got the crowd on his side, uh, said some stuff that was definitely not PG, and it was amazing. You can't do it any better than what they did. Then then it gets physical. Rock hits him with the people's elbow. Then he lets Pat McAfee get in on the fun, doing his version of the people's elbow. Incredible segment. Segment of the night, hands down segment of the night. And you could even call it probably one of the best segments of 2023. The electricity, the attitude. The fans' reaction to the whole segment was absolutely gold. You don't get these many big moments in wrestling. And last night was a moment in time. There's really nothing more to add. Incredible scene. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
All right. If you want the Cliff Notes version of what MF and I did on commentary, well, we'll break it down for you. You hear the "If you smell" MF and I, the Corey and Sean from Boy Meets World, and then MF just yells out, "What?" Maybe the biggest one you ever did, MF. I mean, and then I do the no, I'll believe it when I see it, and I said, "Oh my God, I believe it," and then MF just you did your legendary, "I'm done, I'm done, I am not believing this moment. It's The Rock." And then you break out your legendary, "This place has come unglued." And I'm like, yeah, it's almost like the Nuggets won the NBA championship here or something. He's like, they did in June, right here. Oh. And then the legendary, "I'm not even going to attempt to talk over this." He's like, "Good idea." And then we just let it go. Oh, what a moment. There isn't anything left for me to say except fantastic, surprising opening segment. Pro wrestling is great when it can deliver the unexpected, and this was certainly unexpected. Surprises rule. That enough said there. Austin Theory called himself the real Austin and a real ass kicker, mocking Stone Cold Steve Austin and his historic rivalry with The Rock. And then the great one, bucking broadcast rules and having the entire crowd chant "a-hole" was fun, especially as censors scurried to bleep it out of the broadcast. I mean, MF, one of your favorite things I remember from back in 2002 was when they did it to Vince McMahon and the "You are an a-hole."
Penn State University, at the university of at the campus of Penn State. That was the infamous WWE draft night.
Yep, they did it to Austin Theory. And oh, by the way, that very arena, that's where AEW Collision was tonight, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But nonetheless, unbelievable moment. I mean, I couldn't. I mean, I'm still at a loss for words. All these. I mean, 24 plus hours later, I still have the goosies running up and down my veins here, man. I mean, unbelievable moment. I mean, segment of the night, obviously. I mean, not even close. And this is one of those moments that you'll never forget. And social media blew up, and then I found this awesome photo op with Triple H, The Rock, and Pat McAfee. I mean, I had to share it with you guys, and man, that was one hell of a surprise to start it off. I mean, Pat McAfee was one thing. I thought maybe he was going to come back and say, "I'm coming back to SmackDown," and if he had done that, MF would have marked the F out, because we all know how much MF loves Pat McAfee and faithful watcher of his show every single day. I know you do, MF. So
Now even better, and now that it's exclusively now on ESPN from 12 to 2. But he also still has his regular show on YouTube.com, The Pat McAfee Show, and it's now also available on ESPN Plus, all 3 hours.
Absolutely. And I mean, him showing up was one thing, but when I heard The Rock, I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it. And when I saw him, I mean, mark out moment. I mean, it's always special when he shows up. And of course, now the rumors are going to start. The rumors are going around saying that this may be the most realistic chance we will have of seeing The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, which will mean Cody will not get a chance to finish the story. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But nonetheless, though, segment of the night, surprise of the year. I will say that it's not quite the moment of the year. I still think the moment of the year right now was when Jey Uso pinned Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. I mean, I think that should be the moment of the year for this year,
Okay.
unless something bigger happens in this last quarter of the year. But nonetheless, awesome moment, uh, absolutely spine chilling, and the electricity is still running up and down my body, like I said, and just unbelievable moment, and just glad. I mean, what a few months for the city of Denver. I mean, 3 months ago in June, they got to celebrate an NBA championship for the Denver Nuggets, and now, what were the odds that 3 months after a Nuggets championship, they would get The Rock in their building?
Mm.
Okay, so special moment for the city of Denver, no question about it. And I mean, they took home a memory the night the Nuggets won the NBA championship. They took home another memory last night. So it'll be interesting to hear all the stories and saying, hey, I was there. I have a memory of this. So, yeah. The 14, 15, or however many thousand there were in the Ball Arena last night. This is going to rank up there as one of the greatest moments in the history of that arena. It's definitely in the top 3. The Nuggets championship this year, but the greatest moment that venue ever had was when Raymond Bourque won the Stanley Cup. So that's all there is to say on that. MF, unbelievable moment. Screaming Michael Fletcher, that's who you are. That's who you always will be, and you showed exactly why you are just that, and always have been and will be. So awesome moment. We sold that thing perfectly. The Corey and Sean, your legendary what, which I think was the biggest one you ever did, and then our usual thing, and then the I'm done, no mas or whatever. Awesome. Not much more to say. MF, let's get into our. As hard as it is to move on from all that excitement, we got to move on.
Yeah, first fight of the night, Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. Finn Balor winning the match in 8 minutes and 48 seconds. Anthony, is yours.
2.5 to 3 here. AJ Styles and Finn Balor are so talented that even a so-so match between them, interrupted by a mid-match commercial break, is still pretty damn good. Such was the case last night as the former world champions did battle in a competitive bout that saw Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio ejected from ringside after attempting to interfere, only for Jimmy Uso to interject himself in the bout instead of Balor's win. The finish suggests the battles between AJ Styles and Jimmy Uso are not over and allows Judgment Day to continue building momentum, especially as they appear across all 3 of WWE's brands. Solid use of all involved. This was a great follow-up to the explosive show open. Styles and Balor are both former leaders of the Bullet Club and among the most influential and important wrestlers of the last 20 years. MF, you should know. Damian Priest attempted to interfere, but the referee, Dan Angler, booted him and Dominic Mysterio from ringside. And then Jimmy Uso attempted to interfere, but AJ Styles caught him with a right hand. Finn Balor took advantage of the distraction to score the tainted win. 2.5 to 3 stars. That's the best I can go on this. So MF, another chapter of the in the Styles Balor rivalry. You know the story better than I do, so it's yours.
Yeah. Look, it was a very good battle, a very good fight. Should have been better in certain areas, but at the end of the day, hey, good win for Finn Balor. Yes, it was a little bit of some interference, but it is what it is. So I really got nothing more to say there. Then we had a promo segment by the LWO, and it was one of those where basically Santos Escobar challenged uh, basically open challenge Ray for the U.S. title. It was interrupted by Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, which led to a fight, and it basically ended with the Street Profits winning the match in less than 30. I think it's longer than that, but it says roughly 30 seconds. We don't really need to talk about that. But it does look like we got a turf war. So it looks like the new Hurt Business and the LWO is about to go into war. So interesting dynamic on that one. Then we had The Miz versus LA Knight, winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 25 seconds. LA LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So big win for LA Knight. Solid victory. 3-star bout. Not as good as the first fight where they had Cena as the special referee, but still a good match. Solid battle. 3 stars. Anthony, go.
MF?
Yep. You can go
Okay.
ahead.
All right. I didn't know you were throwing to me.
Yeah. 3 stars, and the time of the fall was 11:25.
All right. By the way, the Colorado State Colorado game, we got a good one going here. A damn good
Yep.
one.
I know.
Colorado just scored a touchdown, and guess what? 3:41 left in the first. It's 14-14.
And tempers are already flaring because one of their best players, Travis Hunter, just got taken out of the game. Dirty hit by the Colorado State player as he basically lowers the shoulder right into the rib cage of Hunter, and he went down in a heap.
14-14. Extra point is good. So we got a good one here, MF. Oh, we got a good one here.
Yeah, we do.
So I never thought I'd be interested in a Colorado State Colorado game. Normally I wouldn't be, but I damn sure am now. So.
Yeah, well, the temper's been flaring. There's been some war of the words the last couple of days, and actually there was also a pregame. There was a pregame scuffle. There was almost a pregame fight between these two teams before they even got on the field. So there's some bad blood right now. There's some tempers flaring in this game.
Yes, indeed, and I know we'll probably address some of that come Thursday night as we get ready for what's going to be next week's Smorgasbord Saturday. So get ready. Anyways, LA Knight made it 2-0 against The Miz, defeating the former WWE champion with BFT. The crowd was red hot for LA Knight, and The Miz was great as the antagonistic heel. The match was never more than it needed to be, which was an extended showcase for LA Knight as he builds momentum toward what maybe appears showdown with Roman Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship. At least that is based on the teases involving Paul Heyman over the last 2 weeks. The pop for LA Knight remains strong even on a night when the Denver faithful were already electrified by Pat McAfee, The Rock, AJ Styles, and Rey Mysterio. Corey Graves said, "Who proclaims themselves the megastar? It sounds awfully egotistical. Who calls themselves the Hollywood A-lister?" Michael Cole responded. "The A-listers," Graves responded, making a good point. It doesn't and LA Knight after the match, he said, "It doesn't matter if it's Rey Mysterio. It doesn't matter if it's Gunther. It doesn't make a difference if it's Seth freaking Rollins. It damn sure doesn't matter if it's Roman Reigns," staking his claim to championship gold and his intent to compete for it. And then backstage, Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman watched LA Knight exit the arena, teasing the potential for a showdown with Roman Reigns for the second consecutive week. Whoa. Okay. Eventually, when WWE is ready, Roman's losing the title. When at some point he has to lose the title. When that is, we do not know. But MF, could you imagine the rub LA Knight would get off of that if he were to be the guy to dethrone Roman Reigns and become the undisputed Universal Champion? Whoa, what a moment that would be. So, we're gonna have to, keep an eye on it. But for right now, this was about 3.25 stars for me, and I had no doubt. I had a feeling LA Knight was gonna get it done, and he did. So now the question is, are we possibly getting LA Knight and Roman Reigns? Oh man, whew. That's something to think about, MF. Something to think about. So not much more to say. Let's set me up for the next match, which is a renewal of one of the great women's rivalries of this era.
It was Asuka going one-on-one with Bayley. Asuka winning the match in 9 minutes and 1 second. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
3 stars. Like Finn Balor and AJ Styles earlier in the show, Asuka and Bayley are capable of great in-ring work every time they set foot inside the squared circle. great may not be the word to describe their match last night, but it was still very good. Also, like Styles and Balor, it featured a screwy, interference-laden finish that saw Shotzi provide a distraction that allowed Asuka to score the win. It was a repetitive finish, especially since it kept the storyline alive for the loser while intending to build up the winner's momentum. If there is a weakness of Triple H as head of creative, it is not always recognizing when he has booked the same finish more than once on the card. Clean that up, and the idea of intertwining feuds is hardly a bad one. The commentary team put over Io Sky's absence by claiming she was home training for her WWE Women's Championship defense against Asuka next week. Shotzi appeared, startling Bayley and providing a distraction that Asuka capitalized on for the win. It would have been a more effective finish if we had not just seen an identical one in the opening match with Finn Balor and AJ Styles. But nonetheless, Michael Cole on commentary mentioned Triple Tails from Smash and Pro Wrestling Wave. Okay, yes, it's not the first time. No, it never stops being awesome that the commentary team acknowledges history in other promotions now. So I'm sure MF knows what that's about. But nonetheless, a solid 3-star bout. Asuka winning was not a surprise. You want to give her momentum going into that big showdown with Io next Friday night in Glendale, Arizona for the WWE Women's Championship. Chance for Asuka to get the title back. So after losing it at SummerSlam, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. So 3 stars. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, about a 3-star bout. Solid fight, no doubt about it. Not really much more than that. Like you said, it could have been a lot more better, but it was solid for what it's worth. And we just move on along. The main event segment. Well, first off, one match that was actually announced for next week's show: Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio versus the Street Profits. So that'll be a solid match. And then we had the Grayson Waller effect with John Cena. And look, it was good for what it was worth. It was a solid segment. And then, I mean, the Bloodline jumps Cena. Basically, Jimmy and Solo beats down Cena. Here comes AJ to make the save. And my goodness, I mean, are we going to see Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa versus AJ Styles and John Cena? Whoa. Okay. That's going to be interesting to see. Solid close to the show. It was very star-studded. Look, I think you want to talk about a dream team. I mean, Cena and AJ, we know they had quite a rivalry for the WWE title about a few years ago, but them two together, oh my God, man. I mean, fans are going to lose their minds. I mean, you're talking about one of the biggest faces of WWE with one of the faces of, you could even say it, of Impact Wrestling. He was a star in New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AJ and Cena together. Man, that'd be something. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, Michael Bullock and I talked about that during our very abbreviated SmackDown chat last night. AJ Styles and John Cena, full circle moment here. I mean, we all remember back in 2016, the whole beat up John Cena thing. We all remember that. And one of the great trilogies in the history of professional wrestling. I mean, Money in the Bank 2016, classic match. SummerSlam, even more classic. And then, of course, John Cena tying the Nature Boy Ric Flair for the most world championships of all time when he defeated AJ in another classic at the 2017 Royal Rumble. And now here they are, possibly on the verge of becoming tag team partners in a matchup with Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. I could see that maybe at Fastlane in a few weeks. So wouldn't surprise me. I mean, that would be worthy of that event. So, we'll have to keep an eye on it. But MF, I got to be the man who tells it like it is here. And when I say that, I'm bringing constructive criticism here. The Grayson Waller effect featuring John Cena could have used a little more John Cena. The greatest of all time did not utter a word as the heelish Aussie, then Jey Uso interrupted and ran him down on the mic. A brawl erupted. Solo jumped in. AJ hit the ring to make the save and end the night with the babyfaces standing tall. It was a messy excuse me. This was a messy segment that did not accomplish or further much of anything. It continued Styles and Cena's respective beefs with Uso, added Solo to the mix, and failed to justify Grayson Waller's involvement other than sharing the squared circle with Cena one more time. Maybe we get a cool tag team match out of it, but this felt like a rather disappointing utilization of Cena on a night that started so electrically with The Rock. Waller played on Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell's comments about Colorado head coach Deion Sanders, drawing heat from the Denver fans. Waller claims Cena doesn't want to be a wrestler anymore. And then Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, and AJ Styles all hit the ring before Styles and Cena stood tall to close out the show. So that's really all I can say on this. So to the overall review here, I would say somewhere between 7.5 to 8 for me. The show started with the returns of Pat McAfee and The Rock, and there is not much a wrestling show can do to top that. WWE tried, presenting 3 matches with top-tier talent, the start of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits heel run, and another primetime showcase for LA Knight. The show felt a bit rushed at times, but it focused on the superstars and segments that were of the most significance, so it was a success in that regard. That main event promo segment, though, felt off for whatever reason. Hopefully, there is more to it than a predictable tag match because John Cena and the others involved have earned better. So, but other than that, 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for me. The Rock obviously will be the big talking point out of it, and rightly so. So, not much more for me to add. So, MF, your thoughts, and then we'll get into AEW Collision from Penn State.
8 out of 10, solid show. Like he said, the opening segment, you could say the first 30 minutes of the show was absolutely just phenomenal. The best thing that you go out of your way to watch that. Yes, I think certain elements it kind of did not deliver in ways that we were hoping for at the end, but still a solid show nonetheless. So 8 out of 10. Let's go to AEW Collision. Yes, like Anthony said, from the Bryce Jordan Center at College Station at State College, Pennsylvania, the University of Penn State, the home of the Nittany Lions, top 10 ranked Nittany Lions in college football. Oh, by the way, another victory for them today. And now we go into the job. So the job at hand. Started off with Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill, and it was Blackpool Combat. Actually, no, I stand corrected. It was Ricky Starks and Big Bill winning the match in 16 minutes and 30 seconds. Ricky Starks taking the low road, low blowing Danielson, and then hitting him with the Rochambeau for the win. Look, solid opener, about 3.5 stars. Look, I hate to say this. Good, right team won, right man got the victory, and right outcome. If you're gonna make Ricky Starks the pain in the you know what, the mega heel that he needs to be, he needs to steal a victory from Bryan Danielson. And for him to do that, going the low road, low blow, then hang him with the Rochambeau to win it, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. I can't hate that. So it definitely adds a little bit of some more momentum for this rivalry to go. 3.5 stars. I'm good with it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. I got to give this 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. I was gonna give it 4, but the screwy finish knocks it down a bit for me. Still a great match though. 3.5, 3.75. I'll tell you what. Ricky Starks and Big Bill were following the classic heel and bodyguard pattern. Starks would tag in, dish out some damage, cheat, and then tag back out as soon as the pressure started to get too high. After playing the heels in so many recent storylines, it was kind of weird to see the BCC be the victim of another team's cheating. But Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli have the kind of love from the crowd that will always allow them to work whatever side they want and get the desired reaction. Most of the time, seeing the BCC play the underdogs wouldn't make sense, but the size of Big Bill really helped make it seem believable that he and Starks could control as much of the bout as they did. Solid tag team match from top to bottom. All four guys look great, and the ending with Starks hitting a low blow on Danielson for the win was the right way to go. It gives him the victory, but leaves it open for Danielson to seek revenge. Opening Collision with a series of quick promos a la Saturday night's main event from the competitors on the card helps sets the right tone for the show. It helps differentiate it from Dynamite. As great as the final countdown is and always will be, Bryan is better off using his regular music every week. He went to the trouble of having Elliot Taylor record a new song just for him, so he may as well use it. Nigel McGuinness being petty about not getting a match against Danielson is one of the best running gags in AEW right now. Getting Big Bill on his shoulder was impressive enough, but swinging him around for a TKO made Castagnoli look even more powerful than usual. And the way Ricky Starks fell on Bryan Danielson when he tried to counter a superplex looked rough. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star, one of the fights of the night for sure. So MF set me up for the next match.
Well, this one, I'm going to leave this for a debate. I'm kind of feeling like we could gloss over this one, but
it's fine.
It's your call.
We can gloss over it.
All right, because it was FTR versus the Iron Savages for the AEW World Tag Team titles. FTR wins in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. That's why I'm kind of yelling, move on. Then after that, then we had John Silver versus Anthony Bowens, and John Silver of the Dark Order wins the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony, a little bit of a surprise outcome. I did not think John Silver, Johnny Hungy, gets a big win.
Well, I mean, I kind of had a feeling maybe because of the fact that, the Dark Order was, asked, the Dark Order, issued the challenge for a trios title match against the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. And, they had to, I think this was a great way to get the foot in the door for that one. Even with a bunch of other people involved in this story, the majority of the in-ring action felt focused on Silver and Bowens, which is always what you want in a singles bout, but not always what we get. However, Evil Uno didn't stay away for too long. He appeared from under the ring and ran Anthony Bowens into a ring post to help Johnny Hungy pick up the win. This match had some really great sequences, but it also had some moments that didn't click for different reasons. Overall, it was a good effort and seemed to make the live crowd happy. Bowens has a really good punch. It's one of those things that seems like it should be so simple that everyone is good at it. But a lot of wrestlers look awful when throwing worked punches. But Bowens makes it look like he follows through. Solid 3 stars for me. So who knows, MF? Maybe this could be a championship committee moment and the Dark Order gets that trios title match with Silver, Uno, and my boy Alex Reynolds going up against the Acclaimed.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was about 2.5 to 3, like you said. There was a certain element that there was a little bit of some chicanery there that I could actually not have done without, but it is what it is. So I'm not too mad about it. It was fine. Then we had Aussie Open versus a couple of local guys. Aussie Open wins in 45 seconds. We're not even going to dignify that story at all. Then we had Andrade El Idolo versus Scorpio Sky. Andrade El Idolo winning the match in roughly 9 minutes. Another solid about 2 3/4 to 3-star bout. It was a fine match for what it was worth. Not too much in the way of it, but all of a sudden, here comes Bullet Club Gold, and looks like they're trying to recruit Andrade. Looks like it. So kind of interesting to see that Bullet Club Gold's got their eye on one of the top luchadores in the world. Of course, everybody knows his success in NXT, decent run in WWE, and of course, he was also a top contender for the AAA Mega Campeón when he was fighting with Kenny Omega for the world title. So, I mean, doesn't seem too far fetched for Bullet Club Gold to try to recruit Andrade. So Anthony, kind of an interesting development, seeing that Juice Robinson and the Guns were trying to get Andrade in the fold of the Bullet Club Gold.
Absolutely. Even though both men entered the ring acting as if this would be a good, clean fight, Scorpio Sky did use a few dirty tactics, but for the most part, it was a match between two men who simply wanted to prove they were the better professional wrestler. These are two world-traveled veterans who have more than proven their ability to put on a great performance. So even if they were on autopilot, they still outshined the majority of what we saw tonight. El Idolo scored the win and paid respect to his wife, Charlotte Flair, by using her trademark figure eight submission. Is AEW ever going to give us a program with Andrade and LFI? It seemed like a no-brainer now that Andrade is a babyface. I'm just saying. Solid 3 stars for the effort. Set me up for the next match, MF.
All right, Matt Hart. It's the Hardy Boys as they went up against the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, formerly of Ring of Honor. And it was the Righteous. Huge win over the Hardys. 7 minutes and 20 seconds. It's yours.
2.5 stars. The Hardys have become more and more limited with what they can do in the ring over time, but they still have the ability to get an emotional reaction out of the crowd. In a somewhat surprising outcome, the Righteous scored a pretty clean win. They gave a promo after the bout so they could brag about beating one of the most legendary tag teams in the world, and they ended up indicating they wanted a shot at the Ring of Honor tag team titles held by MJF and Adam Cole. Jeff Hardy makes it so hard for merchandise designers to pick which look to use because his face paint always looks so awesome. Half of Vincent's promos sound like they were written by a high school sophomore who just learned what half of those words mean. But the other half is really intriguing and makes him an incredibly interesting and engaging character. So that's really all I can say here. So it's a solid 2.5 stars for me. So MF, your thoughts?
2.5 stars, no doubt about it. Solid match. Could have been better in certain areas, but I'm not too mad about it. Leads us into the main event. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander. The TBS title on the line. Chris Statlander continues her reign. She takes down the Good Doctor in 12 minutes. Solid main event. I'll say about a 3-star bout. Could have been better in certain areas, but it was fine for what it was worth. I'm not mad about the outcome because I love Chris Statlander. Stats is one of the best out there. She's been unbelievable in the last few months. Ever since she came back and they gave her the title, she's delivered and she's worthy of being the TBS champion. And she just did it again, knocking off Jade Cargill on, I believe it was Dynamite. Or no, it was Rampage. She did that, and now 24 hours later, she does it again, successfully defending the title off of the Good Doctor, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Anthony, very good main event, and it's yours.
Time of the fall again?
12 minutes even.
About 3.5 stars for this. By the way, for the record, when Chris Statlander won the TBS championship from Jade Cargill, that was at Double or Nothing. And then last night, the rematch was on Rampage, and Chris Statlander won that. So it's safe to say Chris Statlander is the 2 in 60-2. That's all there is to say on that. All right. Chris Statlander may have been the bigger competitor, but Britt Baker was just as aggressive with her offense throughout the bout. Both women wanted to make sure this didn't just feel like a random title defense. They wanted the outcome to be in question the entire time. After a very entertaining match, Chris Statlander was able to keep Britt Baker down for a 3 count without using her finisher. DMD shook her hand and raised it after the bout, but they weren't suddenly hugging like best friends. Baker was telling how frustrated she was with the loss. Julia Hart was shown watching the match from a distance, so she may be scouting the TBS title to bring to the House of Black. The Blue Thunder Bomb is one of those moves that sneakily became way more common than it used to be out of nowhere, especially on the indie scene. I'll give this somewhere between 3.25 and 3.5. So There isn't much more for me to get into here, except for the overall review here. While there were definitely some weak points and one glaring production error, tonight's Collision was an enjoyable show. The opening and closing bouts bookended the show with some great in-ring action. But Andrade El Idolo versus Scorpio Sky deserves to be recognized for the high level of skill both men displayed. The segment with Toni Storm deserves to be mentioned not only because pairing her with RJ City was a brilliant idea, but because Toni Storm has done such a wonderful job with this new version of her character. Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks in a Texas death match will definitely be fun. But the FTR versus Aussie Open match, which was also booked during tonight's show, might end up being the better bout in the end. Time will tell. It's hard to pick the best match out of the three from the night, but due to the title being on the line and the somewhat unpredictable nature of the ending, maybe Baker and Statlander probably edges it out, but I'm leaning more towards the opener myself. But as the one thing you should take the time to see if you skip the show or if you're pressed for time. So I probably would give this somewhere, like I said with SmackDown, 7.5 to 8 out of 10. So MF taking home.
Yeah, I'll give 7.5. I thought it was a solid show. I thought it could have been better in certain areas, but I'm not too mad about it. I thought they did a really good job with it. All right, so that's it. We're out of here. So on Monday night, we do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. Monday Night Raw recap, and then we go the rest of the way. Programming note for everybody that wants to know. Due to my work commitments, because I'm on vacation this week, all remaining shows, except for Saturday, will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. That means Wednesday Night Madness, the college football Thursday, and the NFL Friday are now going to be 10 p.m. 1 week from tonight, you got to come back here at 10:30 for the Cerebral Smack Talk. So just to give you guys a heads up on that, that's the docket for the week. And thank you, Anthony Florio. Thank you all for watching. As always, like, share, leave a comment. And until then, have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you guys on Monday.
Goodbye.